The first time in my life that I started a live show exactly when I said I would. So please appreciate that. I am just going to bide some time as people trickle in. Hi, some of you are here. That's amazing. Thank you. It's Kara, of course. Um, and like, perfect. That's all the company I need. And I'm also very ready because it's gonna be a doozy. Like there are quite a few good books I read in the second half of the year, but also some bad ones, some really bad ones. So honestly, I'm just gonna get started because we know this is gonna take me like 2 hours anyways. So like let's not waste time. So we left off at the end of June. Amazing. So, right? January, February, March, April, May, June. Yes. So, July, I started off with March, book one, which is a graphic novel. And it's by John Lewis. And it's very good. It's about like the civil rights movement. I'm getting distracted by my phone. I need to flip it upside down. Instagram is telling me my countdown is finished as if I don't know. And no, I'm excited. I'm excited to rant. So you're not terrible. So I really liked March. I forgot I need to like open these to see my specific ratings. We're getting back in the groove. It's fine. We got this. I gave it 4 point something, I think, stars. 4.5 stars. Like it's very good. It's pretty much I got exactly what I thought I was going to get out of it. Like it was powerful, it was moving, it was tough to read at some parts. I do want to read the other books. I believe there's 3 of them, right? And yeah, it's just good. I liked March. That's it. That's all I have to say about that one. Then I read Counting Down with You by Tashi Buyan, I think is how you say her last name. And it was so stinking cute, which is amazing because that phrase came to my mind spontaneously. But then I just scrolled down to my review, and that was the first thing I said was so stinking cute. So, yeah, just, really, really cute. I gave it 4.8 out of 5 stars, like almost perfect, almost. And so, like, Counting Down with You is a YA contemporary. I do not own it yet, and I really should. So someone buy it for me. No, I'm just kidding. But it is so cute. Our main character is like not forced into, but is like has to tutor the school bad boy, and he's like not a bad boy at all. So it's my favorite kind of bad boy. It's like, oh, you skip class sometimes, you're a bad boy. It's like, but he's the nicest person in this entire school. So whatever. And his name is Ace, and they were really sweet together. I really liked Karina on her own, and I really liked Ace on his own, and then I really liked them both together. I liked like the themes of family, and it was just it was good. I really liked it. Karina writes poetry, and like some of the poetry I wasn't like absolutely wild about, but just precious. So good. Is she writing something else? Sorry, I just need to quickly look up if she has another book coming because I want to read it. A show for 2. Okay, want to read. We're going to quickly look up this book. Mina's ticket to winning the competition falls into her lap when indie film star and known heartbreaker Emmett Ramos enrolls in her high school under a secret identity to research his next role. Absolutely. Okay. Wow. Love that. Emily's here. Hi. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So those were both good. Moving on to another one that is also good. Do we want me to pull these up? I feel like I need to pull them up. sometimes it's just like, I want to shake a book around, you know? Ooh, we got it. It's all good. Hey, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I've read the old standbys. I've read Evelyn Hugo. I've read Daisy Jones and the Six. At this point, Daisy Jones and the Six is just like by far my favorite, even though I really liked this and I really liked The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But we're talking about this one, right? Okay. Yep. I know, the bookshelves. And this is just a taste of them. Just a taste. I am obsessed with my bookshelves. It's a problem. Oh, I opened Malibu Rising twice. Cool. Okay, so I ended up giving this 4.4 stars. It was good. So, like, I love the way she writes families. I like all the like drama that she imbues in their stories. I loved the four siblings. So like that part of the story was great. And I even liked the like beginning stuff of like how their parents got together and all of that, like good things. But this one, I feel like she just went like a little off the rails. Like there were so many like random points of view, especially when you get to the party later in the book. And it's like I didn't need to know what's going on in these people's lives. Like I didn't. So that was just like a little bit off for me. However, I do love the main characters and I really enjoy this as a whole. And what else do I want to say about Malibu Rising? Oh, I want to talk about the one scene where is it Kit, the youngest sister, is her name Kit? There's a guy who's like trying to flirt with her and it was like he knew that you could either woo a girl by reciting a sonnet or doing a magic trick, and he chose a magic trick. And I was like, boo, this guy stinks. Like, why would you not go with the sonnet? I don't know. Anyways, there's Malibu Rising. It was good. I'm gonna mess up my bookshelves doing this. Okay, what's new? What's next? I feel loath to move back to my spot. Oh, Kara, the next one is one you recommended to me and I don't own it. So we're just going to casually, subtly close it. And exactly, sonnet was the answer. Like, you done goofed, buddy. Okay, so then I actually realized, like, I don't think I know how to say this. The Duchess of Malfi? What is the vowel sound of the A? Do tell. By John Webster. Jeez. And it was good, but it was like a doozy. And I don't know. I think I don't know. My Goodreads review said, stunning writing and genuinely very amusing in parts, but I'm not pleased by like a single turn of event. So, okay, wait. Oh, Mary Margaret's here. Hi. Okay. And okay. You say Malfi? I'm going to say Malfi too and just go with it. So yeah, I loved the titular Duchess. She was like the girl. Like she was the chick. She was great. And I'm like having a hard time remembering it, honestly. It's like her brothers suck and she marries a guy for love and not for money. But yeah, like the writing was good. Did I say what I rated it? I don't even think I said. I gave it 3.8 stars. Like I was just sad. I was sad. But yeah, okay, wait. Stellar monologues. Plot is disappointing. Hashtag revenge tragedy. Pretty much. But like, I think she should have been the one getting revenge, you know? So it is what it is. Okay, that's that one. And then I read Voices by David Elliott, which is another one Kara has also read. Amazing. So overall, I liked this one. I just like anything with Joan of Arc in it just makes me like, I just kind of lose it a little bit. So it was like an easy sell because I'm just like, I love her. I love her. I wanted like more of Joan herself, honestly. I do own this one, but I decided I am too lazy to grab books. So unless they're within like sitting distance, if they're on the bottom shelves, we're going to grab them. If I have to stand up, it's all over. I put pants on. I put real pants on, but I'm not standing. So it is what it is. But yes, Voices by David Eliot is like about Joan of Arc, and it's entirely told in poetry. And overall it was good. I really liked it. Was like the different points of view, because there would be like Joan herself, and there would be like people she interacts with, but there would also be like the fire that's like yearning to consume her, and then like a point of view from the sword or the shirt she was wearing, or like whatever random things. And the ones about objects were like really cool, and I was into it. I think it helped that I listened to it as an audiobook, because I'm like a dum-dum when it comes to poetry. But yeah, pretty good. I gave it 4.6 stars. Oh boy. Okay, so that I read for the Reading of the Renaissance Book Club, even though we still haven't done our Joan of Arc live show, because I still haven't finished the nonfiction about her. Don't even look at me. But then the nonfiction that we read for the section of our book club before it was The Woodvilles, The War of the Roses, and England's Most Infamous Family. And it was what I would expect of most like historical nonfiction. I just gave it 3 stars. Like, I won't deny that I learned things, but it was dry. It was a dry red wine of a nonfiction book. I really liked, there was like, the coolest fact was that at a wedding ceremony back in the day, the tents that you made your vows in, like made a difference as to whether you were already married or not, because it was like, if you said your vows, I'm going to mess it up. Like if you said your vows in present tense, then like you're married. But I think if you said your vows in the future tense, then like you still had to like consummate or something. I don't know. It was like some weird loophole of a thing. And I was like, that is cool. So it was very interesting. And Kara bought them and still hasn't gotten them. So see, we're all bad at book clubs. It's fine. And honestly, Kara, like the nonfiction is fine. It's good. But wait, did I talk about the White Queen yet? Or is that coming up? Did I already talk about it in the last one? Where the heck is the White Queen? I already talked about it. The White Queen is good. I like it. I'm not mad at the White Queen. Okay, then Mary Margaret and I read Prince Caspian by C.S. Lewis. Which honestly, as a book, it's not it. Like, I gave it 3.8 out of 5 stars. Like, based on respect that I have for the series and the way that I just love the Pevensies so much. I love them. But the pacing of this one was so weird. Like there were sections of it that were just like 3 chapters in a row. Or just like someone telling a story, and it like took up 3 chapters, and then you'd go back to the present and you like forgot that it was someone telling a story, and you're like, oh, they're here at this camp. So it was just nuts. And then the Pevensies don't even meet Prince Caspian until like the book is almost done. Like there are a couple chapters left, and they're like, hi, we're the kings and queens. And you're like, what? So it's very weirdly paced. I gave it 2 stars for pacing. That was rough, but love the characters. They're good. So, and the world. So it is what it is. What a book, Prince Caspian. And then I reread Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and listen. Ooh, oh my gosh. People don't like Red Queen, and I'll tell you what, those people are wrong. Those people have bad taste. So I like Victoria Aveyard just like as a person. So that kind of endears her to me even more. But and so I almost gave this book 5 stars, you guys. I almost did. I gave it 4.8 stars. It was good when it came out. It still is good. Red Queen is full of tropes, but you know what? Like, isn't that what stories are about? We take tropes, we take the parts that we like, we put a spin on the ones we don't like. Like, that's what storytelling is. So, like, I'm sorry, but the love triangle with 2 brothers never misses, okay? It never misses. And this is such a good one. And I love Cal. I just love Cal. So that's all you need to know. Red Queen is really good. I'm sorry that everyone has been sleeping on it since, oh golly, when did it come out? Since 2015. Yeah, people have been sleeping on Red Queen for 7 years, and it's their fault. So embarrassing for you guys. Then, oh, rock and roll. I can reach these books. You are missing the point. Look at this. They're going to be right here. Ba-doop, 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 bow. A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. Not to spoil our upcoming, well, next upcoming, our March, our March Past It Classics live show, but I love this play. I think it's brilliant and so good and touching and funny and beautiful, and I gave it 5 stars. The characters, the writing, what even are all my tabs? Like, I'm trying to see what themes I tabbed. Funny, family and parents, dreams and disillusionment. Ugh, it's just so good. This is the danger of, yeah, it's so good. This is the danger of me just like pulling out the books as I stop talking to you guys, and I just kind of look at things that I that I tabbed. I love this play. He's had a little to drink. I don't know what her excuse is. Okay. I'm gonna, I will gather my thoughts and say really intelligent things at the Past It Classics live show when we read this, and also Clybourne Park. But right here, just start of it. So sorry. That's what you signed up for when you came to this live show. Questionable reviews. Very questionable indeed. Then another banger, and also another Past It Classics book, but not in the future now, in the past. What? Oh my God, and the one after this is a doozy, so buckle up. Okay. Can You Forgive Her by Anthony Trollope. I really, really enjoyed this. So it's long, like maybe longer than it should be. However, I gave it 4.6 stars. I just love the ladies. This book, oh my gosh, they're so good. I just felt like so attached to them, and I just like wanted the world for them. I love Kate, and I love oh, stinkers, what's her name? Hey, what's her name? What's her name, friends? Is it? Oh no, Kate. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I love Kate. I thought Alice was Kate, but Alice is Alice and Kate is Kate. That didn't make sense if you haven't read this book. Yeah, it's about my brain went. It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Kind of, honestly, though. Just girl power. The women hold the money, and they're making moves romantically, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Kate, I think, is my favorite character, but they're all so good. I feel like I thought I had tabbed this more. I love that. That's my favorite thing. Okay. It's a good book. Want to read more Trollope in the future. Would love to be a Trollope for Trollope. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Next up, Dangerous Girls by Abigail Haas. Where do we start? So this was my oldest TBR book for whatever month I read it in. Are we still in the month of July even? No. What? Oh, I went through July real quick. We've been in August since Red Queen. It's fine. Okay. So this was my oldest TBR book for August. It was not good. So Dangerous Girls is like a YA thriller, murder mystery type deal. And the thing is, it's like a Lifetime movie of a book. Like, you will stay for the whole thing because you want answers, and it's like kind of spicy. But the twists were like, some of them were like, oh my God. And then some of them were like, well, of course, that's what's coming. I knew this already. Like, I can just sense it. And I hated the characters. And I thought the ending was so dumb, so bad. I personally am like offended by the ending because how do I say this without spoilers? The book wants to tell us that we have a reliable narrator, but we don't. Because the narrator is not even unreliable in the sense of like losing your memory or something. She's just straight up lying. She's telling the story and she's not divulging everything. That's like, it shouldn't be first person. If you didn't want to reveal something about the character, write it in third person. Anyways, I did not like Dangerous Girls. I gave it 2.6 stars. I stayed for the drama, but it was not great. Not in the least. But then the next book made up for it because I read Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. And of course, that was like a very easy sell because it's about Shakespeare, or it's about Shakespeare's wife and son and daughters. So I'll take it. I mean, hello. We got Shakespeare. We got historical fantasy. We've got themes about family, themes about grief, some light romance. It was just all of my favorite things. So like, what was I supposed to say? Like, no, I don't like it. Yeah, of course I liked it. It was really good. I liked it. I don't know what I can try to say about Hamnet. It was very, very up my alley. So I just loved it. Okay, that's all I can say. And then I read a nonfiction book called, wow, Goodreads just gave me an ad for a book that I have. I haven't read it yet, but it's called Josh and Gemma Make a Baby. So buckle up for that later. Anyways, so then I read a nonfiction book called No Drama Discipline, the whole brain way to calm the chaos and nurture your child's developing mind. This is by Daniel J. Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. Those are names. And like, I don't know. Is this about the baby? Is this about the baby title? It's about a woman who falls in love with her sperm donor, but it's her brother's best friend. Yeah, anyways. Back to the nonfiction. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think that it had really good tools and like good ideas. Like, I agreed with what the book was saying, but I think most like parenting nonfiction books just get a little repetitive in parts. So that is what that is. So it was just good. At 4.6 stars. Did I say that? No complaints. And then I read As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Ooh. So As You Like It is a comedy. It was my first time reading it. And it is, I'm always a sucker for the woman dressing up as a man, trying to like win over her love, but she can't do it because she's dressed as a man. Like it's so good every time. And this play is about like two cousins, and then I've only read it the once. Give me a moment. And I forget why they're leaving where they live, but is it just because of the guy she likes? I don't know. But like Rosalind dresses as a guy, and then she like tricks him into being like, oh yeah, I'll woo your girl for you. I don't know. It's like this whole thing. It's goofy. It's a comedy. I don't know why I'm trying to even attempt to explain the plot. It is not my wheelhouse. It is a play that I've only read once, but I liked. I gave it 4.4 stars. Did I already say that? I don't know. It was good. I liked it. Would read again. Would love to see it personally. Once I've read a Shakespeare play for the first time, I'm like, I really need to see it. Kara, as you like it, lives in my memory for having the most beautifully poetic depiction of random side character insta love I've ever read. That's pretty accurate. Yeah, I like that. Oh, also, if you're wondering about this sudden theme of like Hamnet and As You Like It and The Last True Poets of the Sea, which I am about to talk about, it was All the World's a Page. We were doing our Shakespeare readathon, so that's why there's a theme all of a sudden. That's not just the theme of my life, but it is. I really want to do, the like TikTok and Reels trend right now that's like things in my house that just make sense. I want to do one, but like as a Shakespeare lover. So buckle up. I got to brainstorm it. Anyways, I read The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. It is a retelling of Twelfth Night, but it's a contemporary, and it's a YA novel. A YA novel. And it's like a book that in my brain, it doesn't like stand out super clearly except for like some specific like scenes and quirks and stuff. However, what really resonated with me is that the book was truly like a love letter to Twelfth Night. Like you can tell how much Julia Drake knows that play, loves and appreciates that play, and I respect that wholeheartedly. I gave it 4.4 stars. There's some tough themes in this one. However, it's very good. And we love a Shakespeare retelling where people are not super straight because they shouldn't be in a Shakespeare retelling, you know? Okay. Moving on. Are we still in August? Yes, we are. Then I read a lot in August. Okay, then I read Enola Holmes and the Black Barouche. I don't know why I said it like that, by Nancy Springer. It is the 7th Enola Holmes book, and I have not read any of the others, but I have seen the movie. And if you saw our most recent Past It Classics live show talking about Sherlock Holmes, you'll know I love Enola Holmes. So I was very happy. I got an arc of it, so I'm a fancy lady, and it was delightful. I literally read it in like 2 days. Yes, I'm pouring myself some wine. Just ignore the sound effects you're hearing. It was good. So it was like a woman's twin sister went missing, and they're trying to figure out what happened to her, as mysteries go. And yeah, like I said, I just devoured it. I read it so quickly. Yeah. It wouldn't be me if I wasn't just like promoting everything. That's all I know how to do is like, oh, my book club. Oh, my friend's book club. Oh, did you know about this readathon? It's everything. I've already plugged one of my readathons, 2 of my book clubs. So, where am I going with this? Enola Holmes. It was cute. I liked the theatricality of Enola. I think she's just, I guess it's very much like her brother. She's just like, I'm gonna wear a costume. I'm gonna say I'm this person. Da, 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 da. It was good. It was cute. 4.6 stars. I would like to read the rest of them. Okay, and then I reread The Last Wife by Kate Hennig because I was annotating it for Kara, for you, Kara. And I love this play. It's a 5-star play to me. It's so good. It's the story of Catherine Parr, who is the last wife of Henry VIII. However, her plays just kind of do them in a modern setting, really. They don't it's weird because the language is modern, and like in her productions, it's like you don't have to have an accent, and you like the costuming can be modern. However, the ideas of what's happening are like accurate to those characters, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Wow, that was a face I just pulled. Kara, I'm so glad you're excited to read it. And I should have taken the copy I annotated for you and copied them all into my copy before I send it to you, honestly, because I want to reread my own annotations. But yeah, Mary is my favorite character. I love Mary so much. And I want to be her. I want to be her. I think she's amazing. And I need to read more from Kate Hennig. I've read her book about Mary, or her play about Mary, and then she has a Cyrano, I don't know how to say his name, a Cyrano de Bergerac translation or retelling, I really don't know. And then also she has a play about Elizabeth I. So I need to read those because I love Kate Hennig, and she's a Canadian playwright, if anyone cares. Just thought that was a fun fact. Okay, the last book that I read you own it and you haven't read it yet? I'm really excited for the movie. I can't believe it's a musical still to this day. Okay, then don't be afraid, or rather read The Last Wife first, Kara, and then once you know how great it is, you won't be afraid, and then you can read it. Okay, the last book I read in August was Deathless Divide by Justina Ireland, which is the second and final Dread Nation book. And I did not love it as much as I loved the first, but I did like it. Oh, I can take your comment down. It was good. It was cute. Cute is the word. Hard on points, but it was good. I think the characters are what made the journey worth it for me. I really liked the characters, and I love Jane, the main character, especially. I think Jane is fabulous. I thought that the first book really had set up so many romantic possibilities that I was really excited for her to explore in the second book. And then she was like, and this character's dead, and these two characters are separated, and this one's a butthole. And I was like, oh, well, you're ruining all my plans here. So I wish those things had happened more organically instead of she has to kind of choose X person, But I do love Jane, and I'm not mad. I just wish it was handled a little differently. And every other chapter starts with a Shakespeare quote, so we love it. Did I have something else to say? Also, what Olivia Rodrigo song was it? That I was losing my mind to. Oh, the last song I listened to was the cleanup song at school. Okay, anyways. We're going to look up the song really quick because there was a scene that was rough to read. I thought, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the end. Everything sucks. And so I was just listening to this song on repeat, thinking about them. What freaking song is it? Favorite Crime. It was Favorite Crime for sure. Yeah. Oh, it was absolutely a favorite crime. Now I'm gonna get myself all worked up emotionally. So we're just gonna ignore it that I even talked about that. Okay. Um, then September came. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. September was was bad. Let's see. I think the best rated book. Okay, I read one great book in September. Like that's it. Okay, so the month started off with "Who's That Earl" by Susanna Craig. And it's the first book in the Love and Let Spy series. I think it's like a trilogy, and it's a historical romance, but there's like a mystery. I don't know. It was interesting. So, how do I explain this? So, I'm like rereading the synopsis because I feel like I'm forgetting what this book is actually about. Okay, so the main character is an author, but she writes under a pen name because she's a woman, in the past. God forbid a woman write words. And so she's like keeping her identity a secret, but she lives in this like big old house. So she just tells everyone, like, oh yeah, my boss is out researching this for his book, yada, yada, yada. And she like gives these same excuses all the time, like, oh, he's traveling. No, no, no. And then a guy comes who's a spy, but because of someone dying, he's like inherited the house that she's living in. And so they're instantly like, suspicious of each other because they're both keeping secrets. However, it's like very fun in the sense that immediately they both figure out, they're like, this person is like lying to me. Like they're so onto each other. It's very funny. So I liked that aspect of it. And the couple was cute, but this whole like spy plot line about like what he had to do while he was there was like, I couldn't care less about it. So that dragged it down a little bit for me. And in the end, it seems like that's what's going to be the thread between all the novels. And I'm like, I don't care about these spies. So I gave it 3.6 stars. It was like fine. I wouldn't not recommend it. And I think I am going to read the second book because, correct me if I'm wrong, self. But yeah, main character is a widow. So we love that. I'm sorry, that sounded terrible. I like widow characters, okay? And then, I read Save Me the Waltz by Zelda Fitzgerald. Oh, you know I did it to myself. So this book is not good. It's my fault. I picked it for Past It Classics because I just wanted to support Zelda instead of her stinky husband. Her stinky, stinky husband. Here we go. But wow, she just really, I don't know what she was thinking when she was trying to write it, but it was rough. Words were interesting. Like you could tell her heart was in it, but the way she chose to say things made no sense. She had like a couple good phrases where I was like, oh, you're doing it, Zelda. Oh, I like that. And then she would just like throw out to quote Kara herself, word salad. So yeah. And I feel bad because it's semi-autobiographical. So I don't want to be like, oh, your life was boring or your life was bad. Like, I don't think it was boring in the sense that like her life didn't have anything interesting to it. I just feel like the way she wrote about it didn't do it for me. I'm so sorry, Zelda. R.I.P. I love her though. Love her to pieces. It's not great. Just laughing because I scrolled down and I see your review, Kara. So that's all we're going to say about that one because we said everything in the Past It Classics live show. You can check that out. Promo, promo, promo. Okay. Here's another good one, though. So I also read Twelfth Night in September by William Shakespeare, of course, which is one of my favorite comedies. It is so good. Literally, I gave it 4.8 stars. Like it's so close. It's so close to being 5 stars, but just like the plot for me. I really don't need like all the Malvolio stuff. Like I like some of the Malvolio shenanigans, but I don't need all of it. So it's just not perfect, but it's almost perfect. It's so good. Olivia is one of the best Shakespeare characters, period. So if you're not familiar with Twelfth Night, get out of here. It's about like a girl who's on a shipwreck and then she loses her brother, presumably her twin, but the play never tells us this. Anyways, and then she's like, oh no, I'm a woman all alone in this new place. Guess I better disguise myself as a man. And she does, and she gets a job, and she falls in love with her boss. And her boss is like, go woo the lady Olivia. I'm in love with her, and I just want her to marry me. And so Viola goes, dressed as a man, Cesario, and then accidentally makes Olivia fall in love with her. And it's so good. And I love it. It's a great play. It's very, very funny. It has some beautiful, beautiful lines and monologues. Yeah, it's just a great play. And that's all we're saying about it. And I've played Olivia, so I'm biased, but she's the best. Okay. And then I read a contemporary romance. It's called You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. I want to say Hoggle every time, but that's just the guy from Labyrinth, Hoggle. Like the little, what is he? Like a gnome? Hoggle, right? It's Sarah Hogel, though. It's not Hoggle. So this book is about an engaged couple who she does not want to marry him. She hates his parents. She is like just so annoyed with everything her fiance does. And she's just like basically trying to ruin it. Well, then, of course, like within trying to ruin it, they end up, like overcoming their differences and teaming up and whatever. And so, like, it's so hard to talk about this book because I really did not like the first half when Naomi was, hold on, Kara said, You Deserve Each Other sounds like the exact kind of hate to love that I despise, and that gives the trope a bad name. Well, yeah, because it's like, if you hate someone, you don't want to be engaged to them, right? So, like, it was, Anyways, so I did not like the first half at all because the first half was just Naomi, like, saying how much she hates Nick. And I'm like, just stop being engaged to him. If you hate him, leave him, please. Like, stop playing these games. Like, I was just so sick of being in her head. And then there were these moments that it was the author trying to like show like, well, they might be arguing, but they still have like sexual chemistry. Look at the tension between them. But there was a scene that went from them like, I forget what he had. It was probably something stupid like a remote control or something, or her phone maybe. And they were like wrestling over it on the couch. And like in her narration, she says it about like something the way that like siblings act or whatever. And then it's very much not how siblings act a couple moments later. And I'm like, so why did you choose to say that? Like it was awkward. It was a weird choice. I do think in the end, I was sold on the romance. Like once they got together, I was like, all right, good for you, you crazy kids. Once he finally started standing up to his awful mother, I was like, oh, okay, we can do this now. But Naomi had a lot of character development work that was needed, and it came really late in the novel. So I just didn't love it. So I gave it 3 stars overall. Okay. But I read Glass Sword, which is the sequel to Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is another reread. And I don't want to spoil anything because it's a sequel. But I gave it 4.2 stars. I liked it more than I remembered liking it because in my brain, I think of Glass Sword as being like my least favorite Red Queen novel. But it wasn't that bad. There's some really, really good scenes with Cal and Mare. So they're my everything. So I was very happy about that. It just has it has less of the court and like nobility setting of the first book that I love. And it's more like on the run, we're hanging out with soldiers, like all that kind of stuff that is like very, what's the last Hunger Games book? It's a very Mockingjay, which is why that's my least favorite Hunger Games book. Fighting a war is so boring. Like, I'm sorry. I know your revolution is important, but it's boring to me. I don't like it. So I do like this book. I liked it more than I thought I did. And it has lots of great scenes with Cal. And that's where I'm at. Okay, here's the real saving grace of September. The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. So this book was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It just, what didn't it do, you know? I love it. This is like a Hamnet case where just she took all the things that I love and I was like, of course I like this. Like, I would be a fool not to like this. So it's historical fiction, Adoy. It's got fierce mothers. I love moms. It has like the kind of like long span timeline of like following her from her teenage years into, I don't know, like middle age. Elsa, our main character. Just all those good things, like interesting social commentary. This book, it's kind of sad because I would really recommend this book to like people who are like trying to trick older relatives into like having more sympathy for people and more empathy. I would recommend they read this because it's like you see all these downtrodden white people and you're like, oh, it's not fair. They just had to move because their home was destroyed by the Dust Bowl. And it's like, exactly. So feel that way about like Black people when stuff happens to them. Kara's asking what's on my shirt. It's Joe and Lori from Little Women. I was going to put your thing up, but then you won't be able to see them. And Mary Margaret got it for me. So it's my babies. Yeah, it's exactly that kind of book. So it's like, it's weird to recommend it for that, but that's not why I liked it. But I'm like, listen, we've got an ulterior motive we can work with here. And I just like Kristen Hanna. I need to read more from her because that's only the second one I've read, but I've given them both. So there you have it. Another Fast and Classics book. I read Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel, and it was pretty good. So I gave it 3.6 stars. The last chapter of this book, I can never live down. Like, I will never forget the ending of this book. I'll never forget it. Yes, Emily. Oh, the Four Winds. I almost accidentally clicked on the chicken tornado. So it's a weird book. It's definitely magical realism. It sure is. I'll tell you what. But there's some good quotes in there. Again, I love like a family saga. I love like a long timeline. Also, still a lot of like really hard themes to read about. And she says them so bluntly. Like, she'll come out and be like, this happened to this character. And you're like, whoa, Laura, please. Por favor. Cut me some slack here. But overall, I think it's a good story. And I do want to watch the movie. But she chose the wrong man. All I'm saying. Okay, now it's time for the worst book. Kara, I'm glad you're here because it has to do with the Nutcracker. Not me actually almost crying thinking about this book. I read The Turnout by Megan Abbott. Oh, God. this description pisses me off. They're like, best-selling and award-winning author Megan Abbott's revelatory, I've never said that word out loud, mesmerizing and game-changing new novel set against the hothouse of a family-run ballet studio and an interloper who arrives to bring down the carefully crafted Eden-like facade. Shut up. Shut up. Shut your mouth. So the turnout is really bad. I gave it 1.6 stars. And I have a typo in my review, so that's great. Love seeing that. Okay. The biggest trigger warnings in this book, for real. So the turnout is about two sisters, Dara and Marie. I wish I could get their names out of my head, but I can't. And they run and own a ballet studio together because it used to be their parents. And Dara teaches the older students and Marie teaches like the little ballerinas. And then Dara's husband, I want to say his name is Charlie. I may be making that up. He is a male ballet dancer and he also teaches at the studio. And so there's been some kind of falling out where Marie used to live with Dara and Charlie, but now she lives like in the attic or whatever of the studio that used to be like their mom's space. And this book, it's trying to like show like the dark gritty side of ballet. Like it's not all tutus and point shoes. Like it's tough. It's a hard industry. It's not all glamorous. Like I get that, but Megan Abbott, she romanticizes every gross, terrible thing in her book. And I'm like, so is it pretty or is it not? Because you're trying to sell me on the beauty of the ugliness. And I thought you were just trying to tell me the ugliness of the ugliness. So the interloper that was teased about in that little thing that I read is a construction worker or what have you, who comes to like do repairs, and like the longer he's there, like the more things need fixing. So you're like, okay, like clearly this man is just scamming them. Like he's awful. And he is gross, nasty. He is, I have more concise, probably better worded thoughts about this that are coming in my worst books of the year video. But like literally Marie starts sleeping with this man. And when I tell you, like, I couldn't understand it less, like it makes me want to gag just thinking about it. Like he's not even like a terrible man who's hot. He's like a terrible man who's also ugly and also scamming them out of their money. And also, that's a spoiler, he's just a bad person. And so eventually then there's like a murder they have to solve. And then like all this stuff is coming out about their family. And then there's just like way too much talk about pedophilia in this book, like way too much. Just way too much of it. For teachers, for ballet teachers, I don't want any talk of that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad. Did not like. And then the ending was so predictable to me. Like the biggest thing of it, I was like, I knew. I had this pegged from like 25% in. I was like, this is clearly the case. And it was clearly the case. It was introduced in a grosser way than I wanted or thought it would be. But I knew it. So anyways, book very bad. Hated it. That's the turnout. Turned out to be a very bad book. I had to tell a pun to get myself out of that. Okay. Then I read a graphic novel called Stone Fruit by Lili. It was cute. It's about a single mother and her child, and then, but more so about the aunt of the child who, at the beginning of the book, is in a sapphic relationship, and just like the the tensions in the family and the I don't know how to say it. Like they're just like fun weirdo aunts, and then the child's mother has like a problem with things, but people talk and different things happen, and in the end I was like, yeah, it's good. What did I say? I said the things this book had to say about children, A plus. Such an interesting cast of characters, and I wish I could have stayed with them longer to see them develop even more. Yeah, I agree with myself. I gave it 4.3 stars. It was pretty good. The art style was like weird in some parts to me, because when they did like Nessie, like the niece's like imagination, they looked like these like wild things. I don't know how to describe it. I was like, oh, you're kind of scary looking. But it was like their imagination. So it was cute. Quick read. Then, God, this one is so disappointing to me. This is my last book of September. How am I doing? I'm like an hour in. I feel like I'm doing okay, right? We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. Guys, I think I hated this book. Like, good thing it's short. It's a really good thing it's short. So I gave it 2.6 stars. And the thing is, this pulled like a dangerous girls moment where like you're trying to convince me that we're working with like an unreliable narrator situation, but I'm reading the book and I'm going, well, obviously it's this, right? And I have to read the whole thing. It's short, but the whole thing just for them to be like, yes. So I'm like, okay, great. So like there were some good things about it. Like I liked the relationship between the sisters and like Mary Kat's like little superstitious things that she did. Like those were cool. But the writing was so repetitive. If people said that line one more time, that stupid poem, what's the poem? I'm sure it's in someone's review. Mary Cat, said Connie, would you like a cup of tea? Oh no, said Mary Cat, you'll poison me. Mary Cat, said Connie, would you like to go to sleep down in the boneyard 10 feet deep? Like this poem about the tea and the poison, I'm not kidding you. It must have been about a tenth of the whole thing, because ooh-wee, it was repetitive. And then there were just some plot lines that didn't serve any purpose in particular, like their cousin showing up. I was like, why are you here? Like you're just here to annoy me. So it was not for me. I think I would like to read The Lottery, but I already know the twist. So like, would it even matter? I don't know. Kara, yeah, I don't think Shirley Jackson is necessarily for us, and that's okay. Is there any other Shirley Jackson I'm interested in? Oh, see, The Haunting of Hill House. I have seen a play version of it that I really did not like. So I'm really like not super intrigued to read that. I'm sorry, Shirley. I support you as a woman who writes, but not for me. Not for me. Okay. October, baby. I read Krill Crown, which is a couple of Red Queen novellas. One is about Cal's mom, so wow, love my mother-in-law. And the other is about Captain Farley, who I like. Farley's cool. I won't say it. But yeah, it's just like fine. They're just a pair of short stories. They're prequels for the first book, and I liked Queen's Song more. But overall, I just gave them 3 stars. Like everything was fine. It was just fine. That's all we need to say about those. Okay. And then I read The Time-Traveling Fashionista at the Palace of Marie Antoinette by Bianca Turetsky. I don't know why I did an accent for her name. And this was, I was going to say fine. I didn't really rate it like it's fine, did I? I gave it 2.8 stars. And so the problem is that I've already read the other 2 books in this series. And it's really, really, really young skewing YA. And YA books that really focus on fashion age really quickly, don't they? Don't they age just so quickly? Because if you have a girl who's like interested in fashion and she's like, I only wear vintage, and then her friend is like the cool, like popular girl who's wearing like Ugg boots and like Abercrombie and Fitch, you're like, yeah, yeah. Like it just yeah, that's that. So okay, I liked the messages of it about like the connection between history and fashion. Like those are 2 interests of mine, and I like that. I liked how the problems that Louise was facing in the modern plot line mirror the issues that were going on in France when she goes to the past, because she's a time traveling fashionista, you know? But yeah, I think just the pacing was bad. Like it took a really long time to even get into the past. And I'm like, girl, travel through time already. Like this isn't even the first book in the series. So just like, I know you can do it. It's in the title. Travel through that time, honey. So yeah, 2.8 stars. Not amazing. I think I did end up, yeah, I unhauled the other 2 books in the series. They're very cute, but they are what they are. And then I read Hamlet. Hamlet by one Sir William Shakespeare. Sir, where'd that come from? Hamlet is great. It's really good. I almost gave it 5 stars. I gave it 4.8 stars. And the reason it's not a perfect 5 stars is because I'm sad about Ophelia. Okay? Okay. Like, okay. What I wrote in my review that I think just remains true. I said, like, of course this play is a banger, but at least in Othello, we get some characters who aren't sexist. Yes, I can complain about sexism in an Elizabethan text because Shakespeare has already shown himself capable of not making it so blatant. And that's my issue, is just like, Hamlet is tough to read as a lady. I just want my girls to be appreciated, okay? But it's, but the writing, it's really good. It's a really good play. You all know what Hamlet is. I'm not going to explain Hamlet to you. You've seen The Lion King, right? Then, did I say we are, but I barely read anything in October. So we're almost done with October. Then I read Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross, and this totally took me by surprise. This was a very pleasant surprise. I gave it 4.6 stars. I still can't believe that this is a standalone. Like it ended where I was like, this could have a sequel, right? Let me just scroll up real quick. Yeah, it doesn't say number 1. Interesting. So I don't want to give spoilers, but there's a trope that isn't my favorite that is just done really well in this book. So I liked it. I'm going to like Mary Margaret's update because she is reading it. There's a lot of like hurt comfort type scenes in this book, which I just love. Characters who are physically hurt being nursed and cared for by someone who is attracted to them. It'll just hit the spot every single time, you know? Kara, I'm very glad you own it because it is a delight, and Mary Margaret is really liking it, and I really liked it, and yeah, this is another one I need a copy of because I don't own. I listened to a galley of it because I'm a fancy lady. Yeah, really good. I'm burping, I'm sorry. The premise, if you don't know of it, is like it's a fantasy, it's YA fantasy, and dreams can come to life on, I think, like certain nights. Um, so towns have like these people called dream wardens who like literally fight off the dreams like physically and with magic, like the nightmares, you know? And so the main girl, her father is a dream warden, and she like has trained under him, but then these absolute fools come and they're like, we want to challenge you for your town, so we'll be the dream wardens. And then a lot more happens, but that's the inciting incident. Then we finished off October with Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This book really exists up here for me, you know? Kara, I love you saying, couldn't be so exciting to actually read Rebecca Ross after being excited for literally every book of hers. Yes, I have authors like that too. So yes, Mexican Gothic time. So I loved how atmospheric it was. In my review, I said Noemi could step on me and I would thank her. And that is God's honest truth. She's amazing. I haven't seen the horror movie Ready or Not, but they give me the exact same vibes and I love it. I'm living for it. Frances, I'm obsessed with. I like Frances a lot. I care a lot about Frances, more than one should, frankly. It's slightly unfounded how much I like Frances. Girl, you better read it. Yeah, let me just say, I have bookmarked the tweet of Frances's portrait just because sometimes I need to see him and go, Frances. So, yeah. And you know what? I thought it was going to be a lot grosser. I thought I was going to be absolutely vomiting from what my friends told me beforehand. And I did great. I can't tell if it was just because I was like in the middle of my rewatch of Salem. And so nothing could faze me because I had seen the grossest things ever in my life. I saw a spider that was the face of a woman. I saw a man emerge from another man's body like a human cocoon. I saw just the grossest things on that show. So after that, I was like, this could be worse. So Mexican Gothic. Wow, my candle smells so great. It's very lemony. Okay. November. All right. Ooh, we cut back to Past It Classics. 2 in a row. 2 in a row. Open it up, baby. And they're both sitting here on top of each other because I don't have enough room for my classics right now. Hold on. We're going to reapply my lip gloss. I looked at myself and I was like, my lips look pale. Okay, now we're going to grab these for real. So we've got Sunlight on a Broken Column by Atiya Hossein. That face was because I never know how to pronounce anyone's name ever. So this book is cool because it is like a classic of a partition, which is very interesting. And it is about a girl named Layla. And it's like a coming of age novel. My lip gloss is popping. And my lip gloss is cool. All the boys keep stopping. They chase me after school. Okay. And it is really cute. Really cute. That's like a weird way to describe it. It's really cute in that it has a boy who I like. Yeah, that's the theme. Is like I either like a book because it's got like sad themes and a mom, or it's just got a boy who I go, Oh, I really like that boy. So I gave it 3.6 stars. It like wasn't amazing to me, but I said this in my review and I stand by it in that I think it's a book I will rate higher after I reread it. So there's that. But Assad is amazing. I love him. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Kara's like, are you gonna talk about Assad or not? He's amazing. He's funny, he's patient, he's kind, he's selfless. He's all the things that I love. So yeah, that's him. I don't know why I just hit that book so hard when I set it on the floor. And then also for Past It Classics, we read Olivia by Dorothy Strachey, which to this day, I can't get over the fact that this book was the direct inspiration for Call Me By Your Name. Like that, it seems so obvious knowing it now, but I just can't. And yes, he's obviously so perfect. But that pun where she's like, how could you be so headstrong? He's like, clearly I'm not, because his head is literally injured. Like that boy. Oh, that boy. And I liked this one a lot, mostly because I was going to say a buffoon who really likes yearning. I like characters pining, you know? And it had a lot of themes that reminded me. Sorry, again, I told you this is my favorite thing. Bookish ASMR. Can you hear this? It honestly sounds great. Anyways, I love pining. I love yearning. This book had a lot of themes that reminded me of Spring Awakening, which I enjoy. And I also think it was also greatly influenced by Olivia from Twelfth Night, who I've also raved about earlier this evening. So it had a lot going on that I enjoyed. And again, we've got things that have to do with pedophilia that it's not exciting to talk about or think about. But I think they were certainly better handled in this book than they were in the freaking Turnout. So, okay. Sorry, I was aggressive. I gave it 4.4 stars. I don't know if I said that part. I liked. And it's a classic with, oh, I didn't even say what it's about. It's about a girl who goes to like a boarding school in Paris, I think. And she becomes very infatuated with her teacher / headmistress. So, yeah, there's definitely some lines blurred, but not like explicitly crossed, but not handled amazingly and on the side of the teacher, of course. Like Olivia's, yeah, they were blurred, Kara. They were really blurred, okay? I'm not defending the teacher. I'm just saying, like, a student's allowed to have a crush on their teacher. In fact, I dare say that's natural. But it is like a sapphic classic, so that's cool to have the lesbians represented. Good for her. Okay. Okay, now we're really going to town because we're going to talk about The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. Those lines were erased. Oh no. Well, listen, okay. I'm not saying things were handled well, but like they didn't do it. So that's a line that was maintained. I mean, as far as I know, I say this in every book. I'm like, I can't tell when people have sex in a classic novel. Like, I just can't tell. I need to be told. Anyways, we're moving on to The Guinevere Deception, okay? The Guinevere Deception was a reread for me, and I gave it 5 stars. I upped my rating. It is so good. I love it so much. Not me getting emotional again. Yeah. So, fair enough. The Guinevere Deception is an Arthurian legend retelling centered on Guinevere before she is queen. But what we quickly learn in the book is that she is not Guinevere, sent in Guinevere's place because the real Guinevere is dead and we don't really know like how or why. But she's being sent like to be like a magical protector for Arthur. And things change on a dime in this book, okay? Like so much happens. But I love the characters so much. I love Guinevere. I love Arthur. I love Mordred. I love Bronchen. I love everyone in that book. And I can't put it into words. Perhaps if I loved you less, I could talk about it more. Yeah, Kiersten White is like always a hit for me. I'm just staring at the cover on Goodreads because it's so beautiful. I love the Guinevere Deception. I cannot recommend it more highly. Then I read The King of Crows by Libba Bray, which is the last book of the Diviner series, FML. Yes. We always sneak a Jane Austen, a reference in there, Kara. You know this because you're with me on this. So here's the thing about The King of Crows. Where do I start? I'm going to start with just reading to you my Goodreads review, which says, after what happened in book 3, I bet no one predicted that this would be my least favorite book of the series, eh? It took me a literal month to read, and I think that says it all. Like, I was listening to the audiobook, and it took me an entire month to listen to it. It is so sad. And it's a long audiobook, but it's not that long. So, oy vey. It was really, I think of all the series, like all of the books are long, but I can't explain how poorly paced The King of Crows was. It was so slow. The characters are all split up into groups, which is just never it for me. It's never it because I don't get to see like my favorite characters interacting with the people I want them to react or interact with because they're with other people. And like I'm finding out that like a circus setting is usually not it for me. Like I can stand like a couple scenes at a circus, but if we're like prolonged at a circus, I'm like, oh my gosh, let's just go. Let's get out of here already. And there were some things that made me very sad. There were some things that weren't even supposed to be sad, and they made me very sad. Thinking about my favorite character, and I'm very sad. The thing about the ending of this is that I feel like I told everyone who my favorite character is, so I don't know if it's spoilers to be like, this is this. But I think Libba Bray did something that she thought was like, fuck, isn't this a good thing they did? And I'm like, no, because I just want my favorite characters happy and alive. So I'm hurting, and I like to pretend that The Diviners is a duology. So that's that. Yeah, she literally killed my two favorite characters. She killed my favorite guy and my favorite girl. So things are great. Things are fine. And I gave it 3.6 stars. I don't know if I said that. Then I read The Camelot Betrayal by Kiersten White, which is the sequel to The Guinevere Deception. So like, hey, we're happy again. We're all good. This book is great. You can quote me on that. I just want my favorite characters happy and alive. It's not a big ask, I don't think. So The Camelot Betrayal is like almost perfect. So I gave it 4.8 stars because I feel like in terms of the plot, it wasn't it didn't deliver as much as the first book did, but I love it. But I love it. So, like, what am I supposed to say? There was something in this book that made me so angry that I cried. And then it turned out to be like, I shouldn't have even been upset. So it's very funny to me looking back on, like, hindsight is 2020. But I just absolutely love the theme of this series because Kiersten White is consistently like, girls supporting girls, girls, you better support those girls. Hey, you think that girl's your enemy? Psych! She's gonna be your best friend. Girls, you better support those other girls. And I love it. So, yep. Camelot Betrayal. I won't complain. Won't do it. Then I read. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. The Camelot Betrayal was my first book of December. Look at us. We are Zooming. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 4 books left. We have 4 books left. I'm crushing it. I'm doing this faster than I did the first half of the year. Amazing. Okay. So then I read another historical romance called London's Perfect Scoundrel by Suzanne Enoch. And this was not it. Not what I had bargained for. So it's the second book in a series, but I don't let that stop me when it comes to historical romances. I will read whichever one has the most interesting premise to me. I don't care what order in the series it belongs. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own Goodreads review. What is happening? Okay. So London's Perfect Scoundrel is about a girl who, her name is Evelyn. And so Evelyn wants to help out this orphanage. So that's why I was like, hey, okay, orphanage. However, the man who owns the orphanage is like a total rogue, you know, like he's such a scoundrel. But ironically, his nickname is Saint. They call him Saint. And so she is like trying to convince him to save this orphanage, and he's like, I'm on the verge of selling this orphanage, so nice try, not gonna work. So he's trying to seduce her, and she at one point imprisons him in the basement of the orphanage, which was a great time. That's not the whole plot, but it's like a very funny plot point to me that I do enjoy. And, you know, basically she's like, what if I can reform him? Blah, blah, blah. But I just like hated her family so much. And I hated that she cared what her family thought, because in books where people have like family members that are super selfish, I'm like, why does it matter to you what these people say about your life? Like, really, why does it matter to you? So like, especially if a man you're interested in is like financially well off, like you're going to be fine if your family cuts you off. So just like ignore them. So that's like one thing. And there were just aspects that I did not like about the couple. So, yep, I gave it 2.8 stars. The heroine did like Shakespeare, and there were a few Shakespeare references. So that's great. Kudos. But it was not good. So yeah, 2.8 stars. Okay, then I read Graceling. Frickin' Graceling. Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I cannot believe that it took me so long to read this book. As in, like, I waited so long to read this book. Graceling was so good. I think retroactively, I need to up my rating because I gave it 4.8 stars. And I'm like, I love this book. It should just be a 5-star book. So I'll probably change my rating. And I don't do that often. So the romance in Graceling, amazing. Character development, I love it. I just can't get enough. I keep thinking about this book. Here are the next 2 books in the series that are just sitting next to me, ready to rock and roll. This book, this is going to be the book. Let me tell you, I know Bitter Blue is going to be the book. Fire, I'm excited about, but Bitter Blue, it's going to be the book. It's the vibe, you know? And so Graceling is a book in which there are characters who are graced, as in they have an ability. And so Katsa, who's our main character, she has a grace, and she has a killing grace. So she can just like kill people super effortlessly. I say as I apply my lip gloss. And so her uncle, who's the king, basically has her working as like an assassin for him, and like hired muscle. So he sends her out to go like threaten people to make deals with him, essentially. But wow, I can't even like tell you about where the plot goes, just that it's so good. Katsa's character development is scrumptious. It breaks my heart, it makes me cry. I love her. I appreciate her so much. And the boys, I can't believe Kristen Cashore made all these great boys. I was busy thinking about boys pudding. Yeah. Like Katza's love interest, delightful. But then the other 2 men in her life, I'm like, I want to know more. There was one who, I don't want to name names because I'm like avoiding spoilers, but one of them who's super into Katza, but she's not into him. He literally, at one point, she's like at his place of residence, his not his palace, but like his house or whatever, his manor, I don't know. And she's like, wow, all his servants treat me really nice. And she essentially like finds out that he basically told all of them, like, treat her like the lady of the house. And I'm like, I love you. So that was really cute. I really like Graceling. Okay. 2 more and then we're done. We're done skis. I read a graphic novel version of Macbeth, and it was Macbeth, you know. I gave it 3.8 stars. It's just hard because like when you're reading a graphic novel and the language isn't exactly like Shakespeare, you're like, so you took something that was like really good and you made it just like pretty good. So, you know, yes, Kara, that is the moment though. It is the moment. So like that was that. And then the dialogue was very tell and not show. So that was kind of annoying, you know, because it was like more modern English. I thought the art was pretty good. It wasn't like my favorite art style ever, but I liked the like clothing that they put them all in. Lady Macbeth is just always an icon, so I appreciate her. And they made Banquo be a cute redhead. And we all know Banquo's my dude. Again, boys. So I love Banquo. And I was happy that they drew him handsome, because otherwise we would have beef. But they knew that Banquo's a handsome dude. Okay, one more book. Last book of the year. I read The Excalibur Curse, which is the last Guinevere Deception book, or Camelot Rising is the name of the series, by Kiersten White. And I absolutely loved it. Kara's rolling her eyes right now because she refuses to read it and she's missing out. I gave it 5 stars. That's my review. Is my life's mission is going to be getting Kara. Sorry, who are you? What? Kara to change her mind about not reading this book. I'm sad, but I love it. My review is not impartial, but also it's perfect. She knows. I love the Camelot Rising series like more than I can describe. I should close this because I am not getting any more books out of this cabinet. The way that the Camelot Rising series makes me feel is like I can't explain how emotionally I'm verklempt. I can't think, I can't talk. I just am feeling. I'm feeling, you know? They're so good. I love the themes of like self-identity and like humanity and like romantic love versus duty versus passion versus like, you know, like where, how do you weigh all those things? And yep, again, can't talk about it because I love it so much. And again, the themes of the women, and again, the boys and the girls. But the boys, I love Mordred so much. I love Arthur so much. I love all the characters so much. And I'm being vague because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah. Let's go, girls. That's how I feel when I look at the Excalibur Curse. So yeah, those are all of the books that I read in 2021 or in the latter half of 2021. But we already reviewed the first half, and you can go back and watch that if you want. It was equally as chaotic, but it was fun. It was good. I should make a thumbnail for that, and I should also make a thumbnail for this. So I'll do that when I'm done. But that's it. That's all the books. So friends who came and hung out. Thank you for that. I appreciate the company while I ramble. It is really nice to not edit videos. So I had to get all my thoughts out one way or another. And this way I don't have to edit. So that's what's up. And I did this one faster than the last one. I did an hour and a half. I feel like the last one an hour and a half? I feel like it was 2 hours. Felt like I was there forever. But yeah, what a time to be alive. And if you're watching this back like later when it's not live, first of all, I love you. I can't believe you made it this far for me to say this to you, but I love you too. But I also love you if you tuned in person. So thanks. And I will let everyone get on with their nights now. So bye. I'll make a real video soon. I promise. Bye.